What would you do if one morning you woke up and felt something moving under your skin? Not a rash, not a mosquito bite, not dry skin, movement, a crawling, a stinging, a sensation that something alive is burrowing beneath the surface of your body. And when you scratch, when you tear at the skin to make it stop, you find something inside the wound. Tiny fibers, red, blue, black, threads that shouldn't be there. You take them to a doctor, and the doctor looks at you, pauses, and says, "There's nothing there." Tonight, we're going deep into one of the most controversial and disturbing medical mysteries of the 21st century, the Morgellons Disease mystery. And this isn't just about skin, it's about belief, about identity, about what happens when your body feels real, but reality says it isn't. The modern Morgellons story begins in the early 2000s. A mother in California, Mary Leitao, noticed something strange on her young son's skin. Lesions that wouldn't heal, tiny fibers emerging from them, symptoms doctors couldn't or wouldn't explain. She searched medical textbooks. Nothing matched. She searched online, and in the digital void of early internet forums, she found others describing the exact same thing. Crawling sensations, burning skin, chronic fatigue, brain fog, joint pain, and fibers embedded in lesions. She revived an old word from a 17th century medical text. Morgellons. It sounded clinical, ancient, serious, and suddenly people had a name. Names are powerful. When you name something, it becomes real. Before that word existed, people thought they were alone. After it existed, they became a community. Online forums exploded. Hundreds, then thousands. Photographs of wounds filled message boards. Close-up images of fibers under microscopes. People comparing colors, textures, lengths. Some claimed the fibers glowed under certain lights. Some said they moved. Many described the same sensation, formication, the feeling of insects crawling on or under the skin. Here's where the tension begins. Dermatologists examined patients. They biopsied lesions, they analyzed fibers. Most concluded the fibers were textile contamination cotton from clothing embedded in open sores. They noticed many patients were scratching excessively, picking, digging, worsening their own wounds. Psychiatrists saw a familiar pattern, delusional parasitosis, a condition where individuals are convinced they're infested with parasites despite lack of medical evidence. To much of the medical community, Morgellons was not a new disease. It was a psychiatric disorder with dermatological symptoms. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The suffering was real. The itching was real. The pain was real. The wounds were visible. Telling someone it's all in your head doesn't make the pain disappear. It isolates them, and isolation deepens belief. When doctors dismissed patients, patients turned to each other. Online groups became support systems, but they also became echo chambers. Every story reinforced every other story. If thousands of people feel the same thing, it can't be imaginary, right? In 2006, the CDC began investigating. They studied hundreds of cases, conducted skin biopsies, blood tests, environmental analyses. Years later, they released their findings. No infectious agent, no parasite, no evidence of a new disease. The fibers were primarily cotton. There was no mysterious organism. For many doctors, that closed the case. For patients, it confirmed something else, a cover-up, When institutions say nothing is wrong, and you still feel something moving under your skin, distrust grows. Some patients began exploring alternative explanations: Lyme disease, bioengineered pathogens, nanotechnology, government experiments, environmental toxins. The theories multiplied, and each theory provided something medicine didn't: validation. There's something uniquely terrifying about Morgellons. It exists in the gray space between physical and psychological, because the mind and body are not separate systems. They are intertwined. Stress can cause rashes. Anxiety can trigger itching. Depression can slow wound healing. The brain can amplify sensation. But telling someone that doesn't feel satisfying when you're bleeding, imagine living with constant skin irritation, your sleep disrupted, your focus shattered, you scratch unconsciously, you wake up with blood on your sheets, you find fibers in the wounds, you document everything, you photograph everything, because you're trying to prove you're not crazy. That need to prove becomes consuming. Some patients spend hours a day inspecting their skin, using magnifying glasses, microscopes, tweezers. They collect fibers in plastic bags. They bring them to appointments. Most doctors refuse to analyze them. That refusal becomes evidence. If they won't look, they must be hiding something. The psychological component deepens, because once someone feels dismissed, trust erodes. Medical mistrust turns into systemic mistrust. If doctors are wrong about this, what else are they wrong about? Families feel the strain. Spouses argue. Some believe the medical explanation. Others believe the mystery. Children grow up watching a parent obsess over lesions. Money disappears into alternative treatments, antibiotics, herbal remedies, detox regimens, experimental therapies. Some patients improve temporarily. Placebo effects are powerful. Others worsen because stress feeds symptoms. The internet continues to amplify. Photos circulate without context. Videos claiming fibers move under microscopes. Forums reinforcing shared experience. When someone posts a new symptom, others begin noticing it too. This is not deception, it's suggestion. And suggestion is powerful. History shows similar phenomena. Mass psychogenic illness. Communities developing shared symptoms. Factories where workers faint one after another. Schools where students develop mysterious tics. The body responds to collective fear. But Morgellons doesn't fit neatly into that category either. Because lesions exist, fibers exist. It's not invisible. One theory suggests heightened tactile sensitivity combined with anxiety leads to skin picking. Skin picking creates lesions. Open lesions collect environmental fibers. The fibers confirm belief. Belief increases anxiety. Anxiety increases sensation, and the cycle continues. It becomes self-reinforcing, and breaking that cycle requires something incredibly difficult: trust. But how do you build trust with someone who feels dismissed? How do you treat a condition when arguing about its existence makes things worse? Some doctors have shifted their approach. Instead of debating cause, they focus on symptom relief. Treat the itching, treat anxiety, address stress, not by saying you're delusional, but by saying your suffering matters. That approach sometimes works. Sometimes it doesn't, because once belief solidifies, identity forms around it. People don't just have Morgellons, they are Morgellons patients. They are part of a movement seeking recognition, and losing that identity can feel like losing community. There's also a darker layer, the fear of contamination, the idea that the body has been invaded, that something foreign lives inside you. That sensation alone can reshape a person's psyche. It creates hypervigilance. Every itch becomes suspicious. Every stray fiber becomes evidence. The world feels unsafe. Even your own skin feels hostile. Morgellons forces medicine to confront an uncomfortable reality. Not all suffering is easily measurable. Not all symptoms map neatly to a pathogen. The brain can create real physical experiences without an external invader, but calling it just psychological minimizes that complexity. The mystery persists because neither side feels fully heard. Doctors see no organism. Patients feel one. Doctors see cotton fibers. Patients see proof of invasion. And between those two realities sits uncertainty. And uncertainty is terrifying. It crawls. It lingers. It doesn't resolve. Even today, there is no universal consensus. Some researchers still explore possible links to Lyme disease. Others firmly classify Morgellons under psychiatric disorders. The debate continues, and in that debate, people continue to suffer. So what is Morgellons? A new disease? A misunderstood dermatological condition? A psychiatric disorder manifesting physically? A complex interaction between stress, sensation, and belief? The honest answer is this: it's complicated. And complication is harder to accept than conspiracy, because conspiracy gives shape to fear. Complication gives none. The true horror of Morgellons isn't parasites or nanotechnology. It's the experience of living in a body you no longer trust, of feeling something real while being told it's not, of scratching for relief and finding only more questions. Imagine doubting your own senses. Imagine doubting doctors. Imagine doubting reality. That's the space Morgellons occupies. And maybe that's why it fascinates and unsettles people so deeply. It reminds us how fragile perception is, how easily belief can intertwine with biology, how the mind can shape the body, and how the body can convince the mind. So ask yourself this: if you felt something crawling beneath your skin tonight, and every test came back normal, would you trust the results? Or would you trust your body? Because the Morgellons mystery isn't just about fibers. It's about the terrifying space between sensation and certainty, between science and suffering, between what is real and what feels real. If this deep dive unsettled you, hit the like button. Subscribe for more stories where science, psychology, and fear collide. And comment below: do you think Morgellons is a misunderstood medical condition, or a powerful reminder of how deeply the mind and body are connected? I'll see you in the next one.